a cat demon? What? What's up, Grayson Report? Happy Friday. I hope this finds you well. The weekend is finally here, and I have this cool little article. If you guys have been following me for quite some time, you know how much I love Japanese mythology and folklore. This article is from Catster. It's a tongue twister. It is written by Louise Hung. It does talk about her cat a little bit at the beginning, but hey, let's dive in. Kasha, the Japanese cat demon, history and myth explained. What cat parents haven't wondered if their cat will eat them one day? I haven't. Sure, it's the stuff of urban legends, but I've seen Batman Returns. I know what can happen. Whether I've lived alone or with family, roommates, or partners, I've often had visions of my sweet little house carnivore, Brandy, discovering my body long before the authorities and tying on her bib. But then I'll become Catwoman, so I guess that's a fair trade. Becoming Catwoman would be so cool. I admit I am incredibly accident prone. I've fallen, bumped my head, and come to in a daze with my cat sitting before me, head cocked, perhaps curious if I'm playing a game or if I'm making some sort of offering. The cat is going, "Look, lady, what the hell are you doing?" When my back spasmed and I got stuck on my bat mat for an hour, my cat went through various stages of alarm, concerned, and yells of what I hope were calling for help, but might have been hunger. When I practice yoga at home and I end in a savasana or corpse pose, Brandy inevitably gets in on the action. Sometimes she licks me and I tell my husband is sealing my practice with love, but what he calls is an appetizer. As a pescatarian, my body holds all the yummy goodness a cat would want. This is Brandy, her cat, and she is so cute. Having recently moved to Japan, I'm surrounded by a culture that not only adores cats, but also has a healthy respect for their powers, both good and evil. See, evil like an old-timey movie villain. Twiddle your mustache for bonus points. Demon cat, ghost cats, revenge cats. Japan has a history of some pretty scary kitties. So as I gear up for my first Halloween as an expat, I've been indulging in some tales of terror of the feline variety. Here are some of my favorites that definitely make me take a long, hard look at the neighborhood cat who refuses to like me. What are your secrets, little Nico? I mean, I never thought of my cat as something malicious, but hey, to each his own. Kasha, the corpse eating cat. Kasha can be translated to fire chariot. The story of Kasha did not start necessarily with a cat, but with a flaming cart that descended from the sky when a corpse was carted through the streets. Over time, and with the help of artists, Toriyama Seiken, who portrayed the Kasha as a flaming demon cat, cats became the primary association with the Kasha. According to legend, if the friends and family of the deceased are not careful, a Kasha demon cat will appear in a flash of thunder and wind and snatch away the body for a snack. Variations of the legend also warn the old cats can become Kasha, and if such cats are left alone with a corpse, they will drag them off and devour them. The mere presence of a corpse can potentially turn a cat into a Kasha too, which may just be an explanation for instances of post-mortem predation. Thought, after all this talk of corpse eating cats, I think I would kind of rather my cat eat me than starve. But I'm also the gal who wants her corpse left out in the middle of the woods to be eaten by animals. So that is the author of the article, not me, just for an FYI. It is possible to ward off the approach of Kasha by performing the funeral twice, placing a rock on the corpse inside the coffin, the first time making the corpse too heavy for little flaming kitty arms to carry off. Also, be sure to place a razor on top of the coffin. Bamboo cages were also erected around the deceased in some incidents. Nikomata, the split-tailed cat. The Nikomata, a forked or split-tailed cat, is a particularly sinister member of the Japanese cat folklore. originating as enormous beasts that roam the deepest parts of forests, killing people who dare set foot in their domain. The Nekomata slowly became associated with elderly house cats. Again, with the old cats getting fed up and eating you, is it sick that it kind of makes me love them more? Apparently, if your cat lives to a ripe old age, an unnaturally ripe old age, they will become a Nekomata and run into the forest. If you're lucky, if you're not lucky, your newly born Nekomata might stay in your home, wreak havoc, and eventually, you guessed it, drag you off and devour you. In some cases, if a cat is abused in life, it will become a Nekomata and take its revenge. I'm not going to lie, I'm sort of on their side. I kind of agree with her on this one. Um, I don't blame a abused cat for coming back, becoming a Nekomata and taking revenge. The cat did not deserve that in their living life, so I don't blame them for doing that in their afterlife. As a famous story of Nekomata involves a samurai with a demon or poltergeist in his house, the entity cannot be exorcised, no matter what the priests do. It is only when the samurai's house cat killed that the manifestations end. The samurai discovers that his elderly house cat has two tails and thus was an evil Nekomata. Nekomatas are said to be malevolent creatures who have the ability to control humans with the power of their minds. Think of them like crafty little puppet masters who might walk and talk like people. Cats who enslave humans to do their bidding? Excuse me while I go count Brandy's tails. I the way cats are, if you're familiar with cats and you've had cats, you're living in their house. It's not the other way around. Mansion of the Ghost Cat or Black Cat Mansion. All right, it's not an ancient Japanese legend, but if you're a fan of horror movies, you know that Japanese are masters of the genre. Black Cat Mansion may have come out in 1958, but in terms of eerie imagery and storytelling, I put it up against all of the torture porn and gorefest horror films that have come out in the last 20 or so years. Just check out the trailer. Directed by Nobu Nakagawa, one of the fathers of modern Japanese horror movies, the story involves a bakaneko or shape-shifting ghost cat that is charged with seeking revenge on the family that wronged her. The whole family, all the way down the line. The film moves between present day and hundreds of years ago, the that the fam explaining the family's curse. She needed to proofread her article. The Bakaneko manifests in different forms, most notably an old lady who haunts the mansion. A physician and his sick wife go to live in the mansion in the hopes that she will recover, but instead she is assaulted by the vengeful ghost lady Cat. Guess who's part of the family? If you could find this film, it's an atmospheric and unusual addition to a horror movie marathon. I think I might have hit the jackpot in Japan. Cats, horror, and horror cats. If nothing else, all these stories reinforce the fact that I should always respect the kitty. Brandy may not want to eat me just yet, but I don't need her summoning any of her friends this Halloween either. Do you have any favorite scary cat stories? Know any good cat legends from around the world? Guys, comment below. I am going to take her line and ask you to comment below. And which one of these stories did you find interesting? I have never heard of the Black Cat Mansion or Mansion of the Ghost Cat. I am definitely going to see if I can try to catch that. That looks freaking badass. Or I should say sounds badass because I haven't seen a trailer. Of a ghost cat. Come on. I love one of my favorite genres is obviously horror, but I do love Asian horror. There's something about Asian horror that always keeps me on my toes. I mean, with American horror, I can always like guess, especially with the Conjuring universe, I can always guess, when there's going to be a jump scare or something's going to jump out of the shadows because they do that loud music and then the thing in your face. Something about Asian horror and the girl was standing there in the corner of the elevator with the black hair over her face just gives me the chills. So I definitely want to check that out if I can find it. I liked all these stories. These stories were all interesting. It kind of makes me, triple think about my cats that I have. Are they like, a Kasha in disguise, or Or what was the other one that they said? The hold on, I'm gonna look it up. The Nekomata. You never know, guys. And as always, I do go live every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I may change it a bit just depending on what I have going on. Check my link tree out for my socials if you have not joined any of them, and they are in the description below. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next one.